Chapter 1. When your legs cry for help, the signals you ignore. You know, most of my patients used to think their leg problems were just signs of aging. That's what Harold thought too. At first, it was just a twitch. A little tightening at night. Then it became more frequent. Then during the day. Then one day he nearly fell carrying a coffee pot to the breakfast table. He looked at me and asked, "Doc, am I just getting old?" And I looked him straight in the eye and said, "You're getting low." Not old, low on the very nutrients that kept those muscles humming in the first place. You see, the body is like a symphony. But when the minerals and vitamins that regulate muscle activity are missing, your muscles don't play music, they scream. In the form of spasms, cramps, and even falls. Let's talk about the first and most common culprit. Chapter 2. Magnesium, the missing maestro. Magnesium is the unsung hero of muscle health. It regulates over 300 biochemical reactions in the body. But more importantly for our conversation, it controls how muscles contract and relax. Without enough magnesium, your muscles can't unwind. That's why cramps often strike at night when you're supposed to be resting. Think of it like a brake system failing. Your muscles are stuck in a clench. I had a patient named Martha, 82, who came to me after a series of ER visits for severe cramps. Her doctor had tested her for everything under the sun, circulation issues, nerve damage, but no one asked about her diet. When I finally asked what she ate, she admitted she rarely had leafy greens, nuts, or legumes. A simple magnesium blood test showed she was borderline deficient. Within 2 weeks of starting magnesium-rich foods and a low-dose supplement, her nightly cramps disappeared. Magnesium-rich foods aren't exotic. We're talking about spinach, almonds, pumpkin seeds, even black beans. Most seniors just need a little help planning them into meals. Chapter 3. Vitamin B6, the signal booster. Let's shift to another forgotten player, vitamin B6. Think of B6 as the translator between your brain and your muscles. It helps your nervous system send clear, sharp messages. When B6 is low, signals get fuzzy. Muscles start to misfire. You might experience twitching, burning, or even feelings of pins and needles. George, a retired mechanic in his 70s, told me he'd started tripping more often. No changes in eyesight, no inner ear problems, just a sense that his legs weren't listening anymore. Sure enough, we tested him. B6 levels were low. We started with dietary sources, bananas, salmon, potatoes, and chicken. Within a month, he reported better coordination and fewer stumbles. As we age, absorption of B6 slows down. Some medications, like those for blood pressure or diabetes, can lower B6 too. That's why it's not just about eating better, it's about understanding your personal risk. Chapter 4. Vitamin B12, the leg's lifeline. Now this one's a biggie. Vitamin B12 deficiency is rampant among older adults, especially those over 65. Why? Because as we age, we produce less stomach acid, which is needed to absorb B12 from food. B12 plays a critical role in nerve health. Without it, your legs may feel heavy, unsteady, even numb. You might blame arthritis or bad shoes, but sometimes it's your spinal cord failing to talk to your legs. Take Helen, a 76-year-old pianist. Her balance was off. She couldn't feel the pedals under her feet. She feared she had Parkinson's, but her only problem, B12 levels were critically low. We gave her a monthly injection at first, followed by oral supplements. In 6 weeks, she was back at the piano, tears in her eyes. She called it a miracle. I called it science. Good sources of B12 include meat, fish, dairy, and eggs, but if you're vegetarian or on stomach acid reducers, you may need a supplement. Chapter 5. Why this matters, the bigger picture. Here's the truth. 8 out of 10 seniors I see with leg cramps or weakness are dealing with nutrient-related issues. They think they're just slowing down. But what's really happening is that their body isn't being fed the fuel it once absorbed naturally. No one ever told them that a banana a day could prevent cramps, or that a B12 deficiency could mimic the symptoms of neurological disease. And that's why this video matters, because you deserve to know that your body hasn't given up on you. It's simply asking for help in the only language it knows: pain, weakness, imbalance. Closing words from my heart to yours. So if you or someone you love has been waking up with cramps or walking slower or just feeling off, don't write it off as age. Write it off as a signal. A signal that your body still wants to move, still wants to walk the beach, still wants to pick up your grandkids, still wants to climb the stairs without fear. All it needs is the right support. In the next part of this series, we'll talk about the vitamins that keep your bones strong and your balance steady. But for now, look at your plate. Your cramps might not be a mystery. They might just be missing magnesium or a little B12 love. This is Dr. James speaking from 35 years of experience. Growing older is inevitable, but growing weaker is optional. Stay with me because this story's just getting started. Part 2, it's not just muscles, bones need fuel too. Let me tell you something that most folks overlook. We spend a lot of time worrying about muscles, and rightly so. Weak legs, cramping calves, wobbly knees. They can all slow us down and steal away our independence. But what if I told you that underneath those struggling muscles is an even deeper problem? One that gets less attention but causes just as much damage. Yes, I'm talking about your bones. Because you see, strong legs don't just come from strong muscles, they require strong bones too. The hidden engine beneath your strength. Imagine your legs like a house. The muscles are the walls and paint, important, sure, but the bones, they're the frame. Without a sturdy frame, no matter how much you patch up the outside, the whole thing crumbles. And the sad truth is, as we get older, our bones quietly lose density, becoming brittle and weak without so much as a warning ache. Osteopenia and osteoporosis are medical names for what happens when our bones weaken with age. But to many of us, they're just the reason we stopped being able to garden without aching hips, or why we need help standing up from our favorite recliner. These conditions don't shout. They whisper until suddenly there's a fall, a fracture, or a spine that curves without asking permission. Fueling the framework, what bones really need. Just like a car engine needs oil, our bones need nutrients to stay strong. It's not just about chugging milk like we were told as kids, though calcium is still vital. It's about a whole orchestra of vitamins and minerals playing together to keep our skeletal system humming. Calcium is the headliner, no doubt. But without vitamin D, your body can't absorb calcium efficiently. And if you don't get enough vitamin K, calcium might not even go to your bones at all. Instead, it could get stuck in places it doesn't belong, like your arteries. Add to that magnesium, which activates vitamin D and keeps bones flexible, and you've got a team of essential players working hard for your health. A story close to home. Let me share a story from one of my patients, Edna. She's 78, lives alone, fiercely independent, and until recently she walked her dog every morning without fail. Then one day she slipped stepping off the curb, broke her hip in 2 places. Surgery went well, but rehab. That's when we discovered Edna had severe osteoporosis. She hadn't broken a hip because she fell because her bones were too weak to keep her stable in the first place. Edna was shocked. "But I drink milk every day," she said. And she did. But we learned she was severely deficient in vitamin D. She rarely went out in the sun and didn't take supplements. Her body simply couldn't use the calcium she was getting. With a new plan that included vitamin D, K2, magnesium, and weight-bearing exercise, Edna began to turn things around. She still uses a cane now and then, but she's back to walking her dog. More importantly, she understands that bones need fuel, not just time to stay strong. The power of daily choices. So what can you do? The truth is, it's not too late, not by a long shot. Here's how I break it down for my patients. Get 1,0,0,0,1, 200 mg of calcium a day. Sources include dairy like yogurt or cheese, leafy greens like collard greens or kale, and fortified plant milks. Make sure you're getting vitamin D, either through daily sunlight, 15-30 minutes if your doctor allows, or with supplements 801,000 IU for most seniors. Don't skip vitamin K2. Found in fermented foods like natto, aged cheeses, and egg yolks. Don't forget magnesium. Nuts, seeds, whole grains, and dark chocolate are great sources. And here's the kicker. None of these nutrients work in isolation. It's about synergy. One missing piece and the whole bone-building machine sputters. Another lesson from the field. I recall another gentleman, Richard, a retired firefighter who prided himself on his toughness. Never broke a bone in 70 years until he fractured 2 vertebrae lifting a box in his garage. "Doc," he told me, "I thought bones only got weak when you sat around all day. I still work out." But when we looked at his blood work, his calcium was low. His vitamin D was barely detectable. And he hadn't even heard of vitamin K all that working out. And he still lost bone density quietly over the years. Now he's on a full regimen, eats a rainbow of whole foods, and he gets his morning sun before breakfast. His bone scans have improved steadily. Why this matters more than ever. As we age, our balance gets trickier, our reflexes slow down, and our risks increase. A simple misstep can become a life-changing injury. And often, people think it's all about muscles, But if your bones are brittle, the risks multiply. The truth is, strong legs start with strong bones. We can't see our bones, and because we don't feel them getting weaker, we ignore them until they fail us. But that doesn't have to be your story. The good news, it's never too late. Bone can rebuild. Maybe not as fast as in your youth, but with the right nutrients and habits, you can slow or even reverse loss. I've seen it happen countless times. You just need the right information and the will to act on it. So the next time your legs feel tired or you struggle to climb those porch steps, think beyond your muscles. Think about the quiet frame beneath them and what it needs to keep holding you up. In the next part, we'll dive into a surprising truth. Sometimes your legs aren't weak because of your body, but because of what your nerves are missing. Stick with me. This journey to strong legs has only just begun. Part 3. What it takes to walk strong again. Let me start with something personal. A few years ago, one of my longtime patients, Harold, a retired firefighter from Ohio, walked into my office with his cane clacking against the linoleum floor. He wasn't the man I remembered from 10 years prior. His stride was shaky, his back hunched slightly, and there was a sadness in his eyes that hadn't been there before. He looked at me and said, "Doc, I used to carry people out of burning buildings. Now I can't carry my own groceries." That, my friend, is the story of countless seniors across America. But Harold's story didn't end there, and yours doesn't have to either. This part of the video is about reclaiming strength, one step at a time. Because walking strong again isn't about going back in time, it's about giving your body the right tools to move forward. The power of muscle memory and why it matters. You see, our bodies are incredible machines. Even after months or years of disuse, our muscles remember what strength felt like. It's called muscle memory, and it's real. When we reintroduce movement, nourishment, and the right nutrients, our bodies begin to wake up. I've seen 80-year-olds regain confidence in their stride. Not because they joined the gym or took magic pills, but because they made small, daily choices. A change in diet, some leg exercises by the kitchen counter, and a commitment to keep moving, no matter how slow. Case study, Maria and the garden path. Take Maria, a 76-year-old grandmother from Arizona. For years, she had a simple dream, to walk down the garden path behind her house without assistance. It was a modest slope, lined with roses and marigolds she once planted with her husband. But arthritis and muscle atrophy had taken their toll. We started with basic leg lifts while seated. Then came resistance bands. I encouraged her to add potassium-rich foods, like avocados and bananas, and vitamin D from the sun each morning. 3 months in, she walked the path. 6 months later, she invited her entire family to a backyard cookout. She didn't need a walker. She didn't need a hand. She walked out that door on her own. Maria found her strength not in miracles, but in patience and the right routine. The 3-pillar plan for walking strong again. If you want to walk strong again, you need 3 things. Nutrient replenishment, targeted movement, and consistent mindset. 1. Nutrient replenishment. Think of your muscles and bones as a construction site. Without the right materials, you can't rebuild. That's where nutrients come in. Calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, potassium, B12, they're your bricks and mortar. One of the biggest myths I've encountered is that old age causes weakness. No, deficiency causes weakness. The body is willing to fight for you if you give it the tools. Simple additions like Greek yogurt, leafy greens, nuts, and fatty fish can change the entire game. Not overnight, but surely. 2. Targeted movement. You don't have to lift weights at the gym. Try standing on one foot while brushing your teeth. March in place during commercials. Use soup cans as hand weights while watching the news. I tell my patients, you don't need to sweat, you need to move. Resistance bands, gentle squats using a chair for support, or a walk around the house 3 times a day can spark profound changes. The goal: wake up those leg muscles and tell them, you're still needed. 3. Consistent mindset. This might be the most overlooked part. Because you can eat all the kale in the world and stretch every morning, but if your mind gives up, your body will follow. I've met folks who started journaling their progress, writing down every extra step they took or every new food they tried. And guess what? Those little logs turned into long walks and stronger legs. Believe you can walk strong again. Because belief fuels consistency, and consistency fuels transformation. Real talk, it's okay to start small. Let me tell you about Ernest, a 91-year-old World War II veteran. He told me, "Doc, I can't do much these days, but I'll be damned if I stay on this couch." He began with one step, just one. That's all he could muster that first week, but every day he added another. Now he does 10 laps around his porch every morning. That porch, it's not just wood and nails, it's his new gym, his new battlefield, and he's winning. The little things add up. Swapping your white bread for whole grain. Choosing almonds instead of cookies. Stretching while waiting for the microwave. Drinking water before every meal. These aren't grand gestures, but they compound. And over weeks and months, they lead to fewer cramps, better balance, and more energy. Closing story, Dorothy's dance. Dorothy was 82 when she came to me, upset she could no longer join the senior dance class at her community center. Her knees were stiff and she felt embarrassed. We didn't chase the impossible. We aimed for improvement. With daily joint mobility exercises, an anti-inflammatory diet, and vitamin K2 supplements, she slowly regained movement. 3 months later, she waltzed into my office and said, "I'm not the best dancer in the class, but I'm dancing." That's what this is all about. Not perfection, not youth, but reclaiming dignity, reclaiming motion, reclaiming life. Final words. So if your legs have felt weak or if cramps and stiffness have become your daily visitors, know this, they are not your destiny. Give your body the nutrients, the movement, and the mindset it needs. Start small, stay steady. Because walking strong again isn't a dream, it's a decision. And it starts today. Let's get moving. And there you have it, my friends. After decades of working with seniors and diving deep into the science behind aging muscles and aching legs, I can tell you this. It's never just getting old. It's your body quietly asking for help through every cramp, every stumble, every step that feels heavier than it should. The good news, you can do something about it. With the right nutrients, a little daily movement, and a mind